reading. Police Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading. National War College Act, Repeal and Enactment Bill 2023, first reading. Central Bank Act Amendment Bill 2023, first reading.
The first order of the day is a motion on need to address the incessant banditry attack on villages in Dostinma, Kofi Federal Constituency of Katsina State. Standing in the name of Honorable Aminu Babale, Honorable Aminu Babale is invited to move the motion.
In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most gracious, the most merciful. Mr. Speaker, sir, my dear beloved colleagues, I remain Balela Aminu, representing the harmless and innocent peoples of Dusama and Kurdi Federal Constituency. There is urgent need to address the incessant cases of banditry attacks on villages in Dusama Kurdi Federal Constituency. The House knows that June 12 was designated as a democracy day, but ironically turned out a nightmare for the communities of Tashariaro, Koza, Kudewa villages, Geza, Soyawa, Tamawa, and Meleda, Wuzun Kurfi, and Dusama local government, where scores of innocent lives were killed or maimed by bandits in the most horrible sense of the word. Further, note that the incessant banditry activities in Kurfi, Dusama, and the other neighboring communities in Safana and Basar local government areas have led to regular imposition of taxes on farmers before allowing them to access their farmland. Failure to do so risks the obvious possibility of rustling the farmers' oxen, and devilish kidnappers also go in blind search of foodstuff by burgling shops day and night. Our concern, the concern that this incessant offensive by the bandit will lead to the lower payment productivity, which will aggravate the existing food insecurity in the communities. The concern that majority of the youth in these core areas of assault will end up with little or no income, and the consequence of this will worsen the restiveness among the youth. We should be aware that we are presently at the onset of another farming season, and bandits are threatening farmers in the area to pay enforced taxes or risk being kidnapped for heartless ransoms. Also, we should be aware that the proceeding National Assembly passed several resolutions on similar motions and communicated its resolution to all the security agencies, but unfortunately little or no positive results were actually achieved from the decisions taken then. Our concerns that the stringent security measures need to be taken to safeguard the lives of our people in compliance with Chapter 2 of the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, particularly Section 14, subsection 2, which clearly states that the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of the government. We want the House to resolve, one, to urge the President and Commander-in-Chief of Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, to, as a matter of urgency, direct the Chief of Defense Staff to initiate a coordinated security operation by providing.
Point of order. Yeah, point of order. Order what, please?
To urge the federal government to initiate initiate...
There is a point of order, honorable member. Please off your microphone.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. My name is Kingsley Chinda, Obiabo Federal Constituency. I'm an Ikwere man from River State. My point of order is seen on Order 9, sir, which has to do with the rules of debate. Mr. Speaker, our dear colleague who is moving the motion appears to have a different motion from what we have in the other paper. And I don't think that it's flowing from what I have, sir.
Yeah, the order is sustained. Honorable member, it is important that you lead your debate based on what is on notice, because your motion is on notice. Please follow the order paper.
The prayer.
We resolve to urge the federal government to initiate a coordinated joint security operation by providing aerial surveillance and other combatant mission plans to flush out bandits, destroy their camps, and allow farmers to return to their farmlands to ensure continuous food production and sustain community peace and prosperity. Also, set up an ad hoc committee to invite service chiefs, to the Inspector General of Police and the Director General DGSS to investigate the compliances of security agencies in addressing the cases of banditry in Katsina State with a view to putting an end to menace and report back within 6 weeks for further legislative action. Thank you very much. I move the motion. Thank you.
Thank you, honorable member. Any amendment to this motion? Yes, sir.
Honorable Speaker, my dear colleagues, my name is Architect Austin Asema Achado. I represent the good people of Goa West, Goa East Federal Constituency of Benue State. I stand to second the motion as ably moved by my colleague. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
I can hardly hear you. Can you raise that again, because your mic was not audible? And those in charge of this mic, please raise the volume so that we can hear clearly. From the strong room, raise the mic.
I started by introducing myself. I am Architect Austin Asuma Achado from Goa East, Goa West Federal Constituency of Benue State. And I stand to second the motion as ably moved by my colleague. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable member, before seconding, we call for amendment to the motion. If there's any amendment, that was what I called for. Is there any amendment to this motion? Yes. Please put on your mic. Or use another mic close to you.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Akinlade Abiodun Isaac, representing Egbado South Ipokia Federal Constituency. I'm from Ogun State. My amendment goes like this: to address the issues, we should call the federal government and all the agents of federal government that we have called, that JSS, the IGs, to address the issue of bandits in all the states that we have the similar issues, so that we should not limit it to Katsina State. Now that we'll be calling the service chiefs and the IGs, so we should look at all the states that we have the similar issues, so that we can address the issues in wholesome, holistically. So I so amend.
Further amendment.
All right, honorable member. I think having moved that motion before the amendment actually is supposed to be seconded. So that gentleman who raised his hand, rise to second it again, please.
Point of order.
Rise to second it again, please.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I was going to refer the House to the standing order. My name again is Architect Austin Asuma Achado. I represent the good people of Gwe East and Gwe West Federal Constituency of Benue State. I stand to second the motion as ably moved by my colleague. Thank you very much, sir.
The motion is hereby seconded. Any amendment to this motion, please? We will take two amendments, one from here, one from there.
Mr. Speaker,
Yes,
point of
Honorable
order.
Gadi.
Point of order. Put a question.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, my name is Yusuf Gagdi. I represent Shinkanke Kanam Federal Constituency. I'm from Plateau State. Mr. Speaker, my amendment borders on prayer number 2, that we are to set in an ad hoc committee to invite Service Chief Inspector General of Police and Director General of Department of State Services to investigate. If you have a motion that have this kind of prayer, we are like determining the times of reference to the leadership on what the committee should do. So if the prayer is calling for the constitution of ad hoc committee, I think it stopped there. The prerogative of inviting or not inviting should be from the times of reference that will be given to the committee by the leadership. Then that is that one. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, my other amendment is on the fact that the prayer number 1 covers everything, urging federal government to initiate coordinated joint security action. Government is just formed, Mr. Speaker. Service chiefs are just being appointed. I think allowing the committee to work and recommend to this House before action is being taken is better than determining to the committee what committee ought to have done. Mr. Speaker, I urge the honorable members to understand that yes, the prayer is acceptable, but the second prayer needs to be amended in such a way that we should not be jumping the gun by determining to the committee what it should be done. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder to... But you didn't tell us what the amendment should be after finding the fault in that particular prayer.
Point of order.
What should it read like?
That prayer number 2 should be deleted, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder to this amendment? Let me take from this side. Honorable Wife.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable Francis Ejirogene Waive is my name, and I represent the entire people of Uele North, Uele South, and Udu. I'm from Delta State. Mr. Speaker, the amendment raised by my colleague that the area covered should be the entire country affected by banditry is what I stand to second. That's what I seconded.
Honorable member, you are seconding an amendment. So
it's that amendment that I stand to second. That amendment.
Hello, Mr. Speaker. Upstairs, please.
those in support that this amendment, yes.
Point of order, he has not seconded an amendment forwarded by Honorable Yusuf Gadi from Plateau State. So, yes, what Yusuf Gadi is saying, that inviting relevant service chiefs by the ad hoc committee to be constituted should not be part of this prayer. In other words,
yes,
just urge the House to establish ad hoc committee to embark on their assignment so that their terms of reference can be defined by the leadership of the House. So it's different thing. And with your kind permission, I stand up as Honorable Ahmed Jaha Babao, representing Chibok Dambo Goza Federal Constituency, seconding a motion ably moved by Yusuf, a motion amended ably moved by Yusuf Gadi from Plateau State. I so second. Thank you.
Put a question.
No, Jaha, you usurp that position now. Allow the first mover of the motion to second the amendment move by Honorable Gadi to properly second it. Okay, let's give him the opportunity to properly second it. So, Honorable Wife, you are well directed. There's a motion before us to amend. Kindly second if you are in support of that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. I second the motion, the amendment as proposed by Honorable Gandhi. I so second.
Those in support of this amendment say aye. Aye. Those against it say nay. The ayes have it. Yes. What is the point of order? Honorable Wale.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, my leaders. I am Oluwole Oke, Ijesha North, Osun State. Mr. Speakers, I just want to advise that there has been an amendment earlier, which is yet to be seconded and ruled upon by Honorable Akinlade. Honorable Akinlade first moved to an amendment, and it is yet to be seconded and to be ruled upon. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable, what was the amendment again? Because this one has to do with prayer number 2. What was the amendment?
Honorable,
Which prayer are we amending?
The amendment is that instead of looking at Katsina alone, these issues occurs in many states of the Federation, that we should look at all the states that we are having the same issues so that we can adjust them together.
Did you understand what he was trying to amend? On the other paper today, you have number 1 on the issue of banditry, number 2 on the issue of banditry, number 4 on the issue of banditry. I think what he's trying to say is that they should come together as one, and maybe via amendment include their interests, so that we'll have one motion and maybe several prayers.
Mr.
Yes. What is his prayer outside this? No, you know the implication of that prayer is that if we take this year prayer as it is, we will no longer take number 2 and number 4, because they also had to do with other states. So let us put it to vote. Any seconder to this amendment?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Upstairs.
Mr. Speaker, behind.
Let me hear from you. Behind the red cap.
Let's not forget our colleagues upstairs, please.
Thank you.
Upstairs, we are coming to you. Apologies for this inconvenience.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Engineer Aderemi Oseni. I represent the good people of Ibarapa East and Ido Federal Constituency. I'm from Oyo State. I hereby second the motion as amended by Honorable Akinlade. I hereby. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, what is the point of order? Can we hear from you?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is... No, not you.
You are my point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Please, recognize the gentleman that was standing. Let him finish.
Yeah, mine is not a point of order, sir. It's just a clarification that those motions from 1 to 4, they are quite different from each other. For instance, mine is not bandits. It's kidnapping of my immediate junior brother for the past 60 days that I have not seen. You can't compare it. Mine is investigation on how to get my brother out of the kidnappers then. So it's quite different from this. I'm not inviting the DSS, or that is a general one. So mine is quite different from that. So they cannot be taken together.
No problem. Everybody that have listed their motion will be given time to present their motion today. But subsequently, going forward, I've spoken to the Secretariat to collapse motions that look similar and probably join the sponsors of the motion as co-sponsors and the prayers to accommodate their interests. Because if we have 6 motions and all of them borders on kidnapping and banditry, it will be good to structure it well, to ask them to meet together so that we can have an easier section than speaking on the same thing for the whole day.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, let's vote on that motion that was amended.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Can we vote on that motion? Is it on this motion that you're raising the point of order? Can we vote on that motion, please? Those in support of that amendment, say aye. Aye. Those against, say nay.
Nay.
The ayes have it. Yes, please, let's hear you.
Order what?
You are coming under what order?
Please put on your microphone.
You must state the order first.
Which order are you referring to, Honorable? Yes, go ahead. What do you want to explain? Which order? 8 what?